So every week I make a video, I make a dumb, stupid vlog. But this week a vlog would have felt dishonest because I've really been thinking about one thing. I only have a tiny platform, but I feel obligated to use it any way I can. This is a video for white people. This is a video for people who are likely to say something like, all lives matter. I want to present to you facts and shine a light on some less known individual cases in the hope that you acknowledge that there is a problem. I want you to realise that black people are under attack, and I want you to realise that that's true in the UK as well as America. In the United States, black people are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police than white people. Black people are 5 times more likely to be incarcerated than white people. Black men are sentenced to more time for committing the exact same crime as white people. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession, despite there being equal use of marijuana by white people. Now, we have a slightly different view of police in our country. For sure, they're not as armed, they aren't as trigger happy. But black people are still systematically discriminated against and disproportionately subject to police violence. The latest government statistics show that between 2018 and 19, black people were more than nine times as likely to be stopped and searched by police as white people. They were over 3 times as likely to be arrested as white people. They were more than 5 times as likely to have force used against them by police. And a quarter of the prison population comes from BAME backgrounds, despite representing just 14% of the population. In young offenders institutions, this rate rises to 50%. 1,741 people died in police custody or following police contact since 1990. Not one single police officer has ever been convicted in relation to these deaths. The UK is not innocent. And I want to add a trigger warning here. There are descriptions of police violence coming up. Some are quite detailed. So if you want to stop watching here, please do. Sheku Bayoh, 2015. Police officers respond to reports of a man with a knife. Video shows the officers jumping out of a police car and charging Sheku. Sheku was CS gassed and restrained by up to 9 police officers. Sheku was unarmed. He was suffocated and killed by the police, in much the same way as George Floyd in America. One of the first officers on the scene is PC Alan Patton. Since Sheku's death, Patton's brother-in-law has alleged that Patton is a racist with a history of violent outbursts, particularly against members of his own family. Patton has been on paid leave for 3 years. An inquiry is set to be launched soon, thanks to the tireless campaigning of Sheku's family. Christopher Alder was an army veteran who had been hospitalised after being punched and hitting his head on the pavement. Because of his erratic behaviour, likely brought on by the head trauma, officers were called to the hospital. Outside the hospital, he was handcuffed and placed in a police van, fully conscious. By the time he had arrived at the police station, the police say he had passed out. Police dragged him into the station, his trousers round his ankles, and placed him on the floor of the custody suite. Blood pooled around his face. As Christopher lay on the floor, slowly dying, police made monkey noises, racist jokes, and comments about the Ku Klux Klan. The entire incident was recorded on CCTV. For 10 minutes he lay there, before the police finally realised he had died. His sister alleges that Christopher was beaten and CS gassed while in the police van, and comments made by the police and heard on the CCTV allude to this. Christopher's clothes were destroyed by police before they could be forensically examined. After a court trial in the year 2000, police were cleared of any crime. The police officers involved were granted early retirement due to stress, and they received lump sums of between £44,000 and £66,000, along with full pensions. As part of a later civil court case, it was proved that police knowingly falsely charged a man with Alder's death in order to draw attention away from their own actions. 2011. The government finally issued an apology after the family take the case to the European Court of Human Rights. The family are awarded £22,000. The same year, it emerged that the family had been given the wrong body to bury. Christopher's sister reported being intimidated and surveilled by the police. In 2013, it was finally proven that Christopher's family were subject to illegal surveillance. Nobody was ever charged or faced disciplinary proceedings relating to the death of Christopher Alder. Jimmy Mubenga. After living here legally for 16 years, Jimmy was being deported to Angola after getting in a fight. On board this deportation flight, 3 guards from private security firm G4S held him and restrained him in a dangerous hold for 36 minutes. Passengers on the plane recall his harrowing howls and his struggle to say, "I can't breathe." He suffocated and died in his chair. In 2013, an inquiry found the guards guilty of causing death by unreasonable force. They were charged by the CPS for manslaughter. Other G4S guards had blown the whistle on potentially deadly practices that were being utilised by the company. These accounts were not allowed to be submitted as evidence at the trial. The trial was also not allowed to hear evidence relating to extreme racist texts sent between 2 of the 3 guards. Colin Kaler, Stuart Trebelnig, and Terence Hughes are all free men to this day. Michael Powell. While suffering from a psychotic break or mental health episode, Michael was hit by a police car, sprayed with CS gas, restrained on the ground, and bundled into a police van. Officers reported noticing he was no longer breathing when he later arrived at the police station. 10 officers were charged with criminal offences, and all of them were cleared of wrongdoing. For 10 long years, Michael's family fought for justice. In 2013, the police finally admitted wrongdoing. They paid court costs and a settlement figure. The police also published a 96-page document detailing lessons learned. Not one police officer faced any disciplinary proceedings or criminal conviction. This is how black lives are valued in the UK. The list of people who have been killed at the hands of the police goes on and on and on. In 2015, the Institute for Race Relations released a report which contained data showing that 509 people from BAME backgrounds, as well as migrant and refugee communities, had died since 1991 under suspicious circumstances under state care. They found a large proportion of the deaths involved undue force and a culpable lack of care. They found that lessons aren't being learned and people keep dying the same way, year after year after year. Not one single person has ever been convicted for their part in any of these deaths. In an article for Fader, Shana Bangura writes that the racism in Britain's justice system is insidious, but deadly nonetheless. British people are complacent because they do not think things like this happen here. But they do, and they have done for years. For years and years and years, black people in the UK as well as America have been saying, "I can't breathe." We should all be angry about this. All lives matter equally, but it is black lives who are disproportionately under attack. In America, we see protests that are being met with police brutality. Innocent civilians are being harmed, caught in the crossfire. Journalists have been attacked. One even lost her eye after being shot with a plastic bullet. We need to fight this. And we are not powerless. If you want to help, the first step is to educate yourself and others. Read about racism. Read books about racism. Read articles about racism. Listen to black voices. And remember, at all times, it is not their job to educate you. Step 2. Redistribute your wealth and resources to black people, to black organisations, and to protester bail funds. Please join local protests if it is safe for you to do so. And my last piece of advice is to always film the police. Just today, as I record this, a 70-year-old man was struck down in America, and the police reported that he had tripped and fell. It wasn't until later, when the video was released of him being pushed and his head being split open on the pavement, that the police finally admit wrongdoing. The description is full of links for further reading and full of actions that you can take today. Thank you for watching.